Welcome to T-Prep Talk. We're going to hear my story. You're going to hear my guest's story. It's going to help make your story. And today we have... Welcome to T-Prep Talk. We're going to hear my story. You're going to hear my guest's story. It's going to help make your story. And I'm your host, Barbell, Honcho, and also owner of T-Prep Gym. And T-Prep Talk is the conversation behind T-Prep Gym. And I want to challenge you to think innovatively, creative, and adaptive. Everybody's story is unique, but we can always learn from each other. And today we have Jason. How do you say your last name again?
Poncio.
Poncio. It's Italian, so I didn't know he was Italian.
Hey.
Do you ever go back to Italy and check it out?
No, I've actually never been to Italy.
Okay, really?
I think my grandparents, their family was brought them as they were kids from Italy.
Yeah. Okay, so your grandparents came from
Yeah, so my great grandparents brought my grandparents.
So full blood?
Yeah. Well, I'm half.
Okay. All right.
So,
what's the other half?
Irish.
Okay, so Irish.
That's a pretty bad mix there.
So Jason is a music artist, weightlifter, I would say, and part-time director. If you see the skits he shoots here at the gym, you can check out his Facebook page. And was it TikTok too?
TikTok and Instagram, Jason Poncio Music.
Yeah, has a lot of great skits there here in the gym, and also has a new song out that has 332,000 streams, and it's "Don't Run Away from Love."
Never Run remix.
Never Run remix. So what makes it a remix? Did you make a song before?
So in 2007, I dropped my original album.
Yeah.
So me and my buddy that produced and wrote that one kind of went back, and we wanted to kind of redeem some of the songs. Not that they weren't good at the time, but we kind of had a different innovation of what we want to do with some of these songs.
Okay.
So we're kind of bringing them now and with the different feel and flavor.
Okay, so more like a remake.
So this is a song that you made before.
Yeah.
And you just remade it with a different flow, is what you're saying. So a different style.
Yeah, it's got a whole different feel to it, different sound.
And what inspired that? Because that's that innovation. That's the adaptive. You had to change the style up because obviously this one's getting a lot of love.
Oh, yeah.
332,000 streams.
It's definitely more street.
Yeah.
It's definitely got kind of the traditional vibe that I always kind of brought is the urban feel to it.
Okay.
You know, R&B, hip hop. That's one of my biggest loves. So
I didn't know you had a voice on you, man.
Yeah.
I heard it a good about 5 times, and I see you going in there. It was a little softer at the beginning, then you started bringing the vocals in more towards the end of the song.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. So did you just throw it on Spotify and then got a whole bunch of views from that?
So we signed up with DistroKid.
Yeah.
And, we can, put as many albums out and many singles out. And we just kind of strategically did this. I wanted to do this set of songs as singles. So every 3-4 months, I'll release a new single. I didn't really want to do a whole album this time. Because the album thing is not really in.
Yeah.
Everyone's just dropping singles, and it just makes more sense doing it like that now instead of putting so much time and effort into an album. And then, I want people to actually hear these songs. Yeah. So if you put them out as a single and push that, they're going to focus on that and then be ready for the next one and when that one drops. And the new one to drop probably in April.
Okay, so new song is coming out in April. And you have an album coming.
So I have 2 full-length albums.
Okay.
One is under J Poncio, which was dropped in 2007. And then I had the other one, Timeline 20, which I dropped in 2021, 22.
Okay. And what inspired you to start making music?
So my grandpa was a huge producer back in the day. He owned a Third and Monument Records.
Okay.
And he produced for Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers and Don
Those are
Cherry.
big names.
Yeah, and Sissy Houston, which was Whitney's mom. Yeah. And there's some stories when they lived in Tennessee, he lived in a cul-de-sac. He had one side of him was Johnny Cash, on the other side was Orson Welles, and Chris Christopherson used to go and sleep on their couch. And I mean, it's just a trip. He was a mentor to B.J. Thomas and Steve Tyrell, and so I mean, there's a long history, and it's just in my blood. And then, as a kid, I'd watch all the music videos on MTV, and I was a big New Edition and New Kids fan, and I liked the whole Motown vibe, and I wanted a group that can sing, and because you sing, you see all the girls, and that's a pretty good motivator. So,
man, I believe it. I think girls set the trend. If girls love it, man, then those guys are doing it.
Exactly. I mean, that's just it. You try to be the lead dog, and make things happen.
Most definitely. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. If a girl said, "Oh, we like guys that wear skinny jeans," every guy will start wearing skinny jeans.
Yeah.
Just to get girls.
Well, it's like one of the things they used to do at the clubs is like you would get a group of girls, and record companies or promoters or whatever, these girls will go up to the DJ and be like, "Hey, we really want you to play this." If you have 15 girls asking for a certain song, they're going to spin it. They're the ones that make and break you.
Yeah, for real.
So,
wow. That's actually
good, the hustle never stops, man. The hustle never stops for you. Obviously, you do the music, and you also are going to shoot a movie here soon.
We're putting together movies for True Alpha Films LLC. We are shopping some of the scripts right now to investors.
Yeah.
So hopefully those get picked up pretty quick.
Now, how does that go, man? When you shooting for investors for the skit, do you got to present it to them in some sort of way, or you just send it over through email and then have them read it over?
You come up with the movie deck, and you basically kind of put like what your dream cast and director is for it, and if the script's rocking and they see you get some of the actors to sign on. And then you got that commitment, then the investors are going to be more in depth to sign for it. And then there's a lot of other things that kind of go into that. And it's cool having your own film company, because not only are you able to, write the script and, shop for the investors, but you also handle like the soundtrack, and you handle merchandise. And I mean, it's pretty cool having your hands in a lot of different things. And I'm learning this process kind of like I learned the music process. You jump in it, you hustle, you become a student of it.
Yeah.
You become a sponge, and you just kind of take it all in.
Yeah, every master was a great student.
Yeah.
And I think we are made in the image of God, and God is a creator. So how do you create that? How do you keep that creative spirit in you?
I think first, like you said, you need to put God first.
Okay. In
everything you do, you got to put God first. But you also have to be real. Mm-hmm. You don't get into any business, anything like that, and screw people over. You don't set out just to be me. You want to be able to bring everybody up. Everyone that is a part of what you're doing should eat off the same plate.
Yes.
It's all about taking care of everyone around you, and even the ones that aren't around you. You want to do what's best for the greater good. You want to be a good servant leader.
Yeah, I don't think anybody, like when people make that statement, self-made man, I don't think anybody's a self-made man. I think you had that ambition in you and you had that drive, but the people around you had to agree with the stuff that you're doing, and the people that are supporting you also. So like people who are listening to your music, they have to like it. Without people listening to your music, then you got
a song.
He's got a song out there. So most definitely, I agree with everything that you said there. So what genre would you say your music is in?
I would put it in, let's just say R&B pop or pop R&B. I would classify it as that, and then it's got, little influences here and there with a little hip hop and, maybe a little bit of rock, but it's pop R&B.
Yeah, and I was speaking to you once at the gym. So just so you guys know, Jason is a member here at T-Prep Gym, and that's how we got connected.
3 plates.
3 plates, yeah. Pushing 3 plates. We're going to 4, huh?
Maybe.
You've actually been progressing in your fitness journey pretty well. You've been very disciplined, it seems like.
I've lost 40 pounds, and when I first came in, I was only able to do 1 plate.
Yeah.
And then progressed. I've been over a year here. Now I'm pushing 3 plates.
Pushing 3 plates, man. And that's a lot of people's goals, just to push 3 plates. So you're very involved in community. We met you here through the gym. But I really want to get into depth here on how do you keep that creative spirit alive? Because going through life, trials and tribulations and everything, how do you continue to push for greatness as a man? And I want you to see what advice would you give people?
I would say, we all go through trials and tribulations, and you're going to get knocked down. Yeah. And no matter what, something's going to happen to knock you down and challenge you in life. And everyone is creative in some way, shape, or form, and everyone has dreams. Yeah. So I say don't ever give up on your dream. Just remember that nothing is going to be easy route. Yeah. You don't want it to be easy route because it's more rewarding when you have to earn it.
Yeah, I think people respect it a lot more whenever you earn whatever you got.
Yes.
And that's why people, don't really like people who come from a wealthy family. I still think coming from a wealthy family, it's going to take hard work and dedication to get to where you want to go.
Right. I think at some point you're going to get challenged no matter what you come from, what background you come from. Yeah. We all go through something. Not everyone's going to go through the same thing. Mm-hmm. So no one should be hating on someone's journey because everyone's journey is their own journey. Yeah. And some people might have something that seems a lot rougher than others, but to the other person that might not be going through such a rough journey, that's still rough to them. And we can't sit there and judge that on anybody.
And if you're watching this podcast, somebody told me this quote and it made sense to me. It said, how can I be a hater if I love myself? So most of the time people who are hating are disliking their own life. Yeah. So they project on others.
That's true.
But I really think about it. Like everybody's journey is different and everybody's going through their own thoughts in their head, their own battles. And like, I'm sure you go through it, I go through it, where it's like, is my idea a good idea? Does this make sense? Am I looking silly? But we won't know until we do it.
Yeah. Well, I think another thing is I gotten older. Yeah. I gotten to where it's like you got to feel good in your own skin. Yeah. And it doesn't really matter what other people think. It shouldn't matter what other people think. I think the point is, if you love doing something, do it, no matter what someone thinks. I mean, if you find joy in something, don't let someone else take it away. Yeah. That's the point of being able to move forward and being happy with life.
Yeah. I think ideas, how you ever think of something and you think, you ever think of an idea and then you see it pop up somewhere else and like, how did they think of that? I thought of that, right?
They just got to it before you did.
Yeah, exactly. So I think ideas float around this atmosphere and they enter one's head, and if you don't make it happen when you get that idea, somebody else will. So that idea is floating around everywhere. So somebody's always thought of whatever you're thinking of. Yeah. But it's who puts action into that idea.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when one door, closes, another door opens. Yeah. And if you're not the one to close the door, a door will always open for you. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you got to go without having fear. Mm-hmm. You got to have that, but you got to have that drive and the desire and ambition, and you're going to get way more no's than you will yeses. Yeah. That's the thing, but you got to strive to actually get that yes.
All it takes is one yes, and the fears that we don't face become our limitations.
Yeah. I mean, coming up in the music business, it's like I got to the point to where it's not that we didn't get contracts from labels. Yeah. Our first one came from Universal, but we were so focused on handling our business to where what the contract said, we weren't so desperate where we had to sign it, but if you look at what it was offering, it was 17 cents per album split between 5 guys. Mm-hmm. And then they had the power to move out members, and it's like, no, we didn't want anybody with that control.
You're basically selling your soul there.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at this, 17 cents per album is what 5 guys have to split. If you do the math, man,
basically nothing, man. Let's go there. I don't want to get too accurate on the try to guess that.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, you gotta. Yeah, no.
That's getting paid in beans.
Yeah. So what'd you end up doing?
I ended up starting my own label.
Notice that with music artists, they just always start throwing on things.
It's just, if you don't want to sit there and be handcuffed to something that has all the power, especially since we wrote and produced all our own stuff. Nah, it's okay. We'll handle our own business. And, you know, it's trial and error. You know, we jumped out there and, you know, I was a dog, man. You know,
Gotta be.
I went out there and got clubs and venues, and I started managing other acts too. And I basically kind of took the Motown structure and started taking all my acts into shows. So we would go into our own shows. So it was rock, rap, our group, solo stuff, and you know, we just kind of mixed it up, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and you're putting your energy out into the world. Mm-hmm. You have to. You can't just sit back and expect other people to do it for you.
Yeah, no. You can't, because more times than none, you're gonna get let down.
You were your own promoter as well.
Yeah.
You had to play many roles.
Yeah, and we didn't have the outlets that you have now.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't have the social media push that you had now. You didn't have your iPhones and stuff like that. I mean, everything was still, if you wanted to do a club, you had to actually go to that club or venue and meet with people and do the deals inside the building. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff that we did for free.
So you were in the nightlife.
Oh, yeah. And I had a full-time job at the same time.
Just grinding it out.
Oh, yeah. You do your 8 to 10 hours of your full-time job, and then, you know, you go hit the clubs and you hit the venues, and then started another company with my buddy, which we did all the promotions for Live Nation in the Houston area. So we would go and flyer a lot of the venues and promote all the Live Nation shows too. So
you were in the Houston nightlife. That's where you were at. Okay, is there any crazy stories that you encountered? I'm sure there's always something else.
So, okay. So I'll lay this one on you. So towards kind of the end of the group as we were, we had a song called Party to Fantasy.
Okay.
And this song took a life of its own.
Yeah.
It was getting noticed, and I was kind of like beat. So I ended up hiring these dudes as managers.
Okay.
And, you know, they were like, oh, we used to be bodyguards for Johnny Gill and blah, 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 you know. And I won't go into the stories they were telling me about all that. But they ended up, they ended up getting the song out into like Atlanta. It got cast on the radio, and then like, man, your song's hot, this and that. And they took it to a record company. They knew some guys up northeast. I won't say the name of the label just because of the situation, but it ended up coming out that the label liked the group, liked the song, but didn't like me because of my weight. So they wanted my group to kick me out, and they would sign the group.
Aren't you the lead singer?
I was the lead everything, not just the lead singer, because we all split parts. But I was.
So they get rid of you, then it's all gone.
So my boys stuck with me, but these dudes ended up putting a hit out on me for this song. And so the first thing I did is I got the cease and desist, fired them. I went and I nailed that on their door, and then the little gang and stuff that they were going to try to have me taken out with, that got handled. Yeah. And, you know, that got totally squashed. But
wow,
it just goes to show you how greed and corruption in a corrupt spirit, you know, just kind of leads to where people try to take advantage of you and take you out when they think they're going to get a payday. Not thinking ahead is, well, who owns the rights to these songs? You know, it's just stupid stuff. I mean, and that's not the only story. I mean, there's so many things of people backstabbing and doing just horrific things in this industry.
Oh, I'm sure, man. It was the music industry.
Yeah, it is. But, you know, one thing I learned, it was the music and then / drug industry. So, you know, there's a lot of that went on back then, too. Not for us, because we kind of did our own thing, and I didn't really associate myself with labels that were doing that and whatnot. And I think it kind of pissed a lot of people off.
Okay.
Because I had a lot of people after me just because I was doing my own thing, and they didn't like that I was getting in all these clubs and doing all these shows and whatnot, and we're making the name. Within 1 year, Urban City was one of the top entertainment companies in the city.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it just,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, man, the value of life in that industry is slim to none.
yeah, it didn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
It's just, you stand by your beliefs, and that's the one thing that you got to do is be of high character,
Yeah.
and stand by your beliefs, and stand by your family, your people.
Yeah. So how'd you get out of that situation through that cease and desist? And then you said that the group got handled.
Yeah.
So how'd you get out of that situation? Did they see that you got all the legal action taken care of?
Yeah, I didn't hear a peep out of them after I nailed that thing on their door.
Okay.
It was just they weren't going to pay the money to get an entertainment lawyer.
Yeah.
We did. I was just, and hindsight, I wish I never hired them.
Mm-hmm.
I was tired because I've been handling everything myself. I wanted a chance to actually be a true artist, and I was never really able to do that.
That's the ways of an exceptional man, man. I was speaking to there's one member here. He his schedule's always stacked. Never has time. He has to fit time in for his family and stuff. And I told him that's the way of the exceptional man. It's a hectic life.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And you're doing that as well. And you had to go through that grind and hustle where you're like, you know what? They're not giving me a chance, so I'm going to go make the chance myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get the opportunity myself. Now, of course, you're a strong believer of God, right?
Yes, sir.
So do you believe that you had the favor of God in those moments?
I do. I think God saved me from a lot of that situation.
Okay.
It's just, the music industry is rough.
Yeah.
It's volatile. And, you get into situations that, you probably shouldn't be in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, those are the steps you have to take if you want to try to succeed in that business. You have to walk through the fire to get out on the other side.
You got to walk through the fire to get out the other side.
And I learned a lot through these steps and through that journey. I don't have to deal with any of that now.
Yeah.
The whole industry is different.
Mm-hmm.
You're accessible to where you can put out your stuff and social media, and you don't have to go and grind like that as far as the physical goes.
Okay. And so how what's the process of making music?
Well,
You write the song. Okay, this is from a novice, somebody who doesn't know anything about making music, right? So I'm thinking, all right, if I want to make a song, I'm going to go ahead and write the lyrics, right? I'm going to write what I wanted to say, write the hook, write the chorus, all that stuff. And then I'm going to find a beat that I like over it. But that's pretty much all I know from there.
Okay. That's one way.
Okay.
So, like, when I write my songs, the hook will come to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll start singing in my head. It's like, okay, this is pretty catchy.
Yeah.
And then that's what will start the song, and then start working on the verses.
Yeah.
And then I have a good relationship with who I call my little brother, Ref.
Ref.
Yeah.
That's the real name?
No, his name's Anthony.
Okay. Where
So-
Ref come from?
That's just
That's a whole other story.
Ref 3. I mean, that's his artist name.
Okay.
So we, he's been with me since almost day one. Back in the day with the group, and we've been making music together over almost 25 years.
Yeah.
So he produced my first album, second album, all the singles. We've been working together since then, and if I have a song, I was like, hey, check this out, and he'll start making the beat, or I want it to sound like this, and then we just kind of start working off each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good man, a good team.
But he's an actual producer, not just a beat maker.
Yeah.
When you do music, and this is not the bag on anybody, but when you're a singer, you want a real producer, someone that can help you navigate vocals and arrangements and everything like that, because you need a good kind of team with you to be able to do that, so it sounds good. And there's artists out there that can do it themselves, and then you have different artists that will go to somebody just to make a beat.
Yeah.
More rap artists and singers, but
Yeah.
It's just whoever I think you flow with the best is who you can work with.
Yeah, it sounds to be very technical. I hear a lot of artists that get features and they go work with other artists and they just don't flow together, so they don't work together. So is it all off vibes? Let's say you go meet up with somebody to shoot a song and you're like, you know what, I'm not liking this guy's vibe.
Yeah.
And you can't make a song there.
My thing is like I feel like I'm like Adam Sandler of music.
Okay.
Where all my features are everyone that I came up with. You know, like the new single will have a group out of originally out of Baltimore, but they're in Georgia. They're called Mac 4.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm going to have, you know, Anthony on this. I'm going to have my buddy Crisis Heist.
Nice.
I like that.
Crisis
Yeah.
Heist. These names, man.
So I mean, it's you know, I try to keep bringing everyone that I was either former group members or people that I managed, and you know, it was basically like one big family. So whenever I do something new, it's like, hey, do you want to be on it? And they'd be like, yes or no, and I was like, come aboard if you want to do it, and let's roll.
Mm-hmm. So for anybody going out there trying to do something, how did it take you a lot of no's to get to one yes?
Oh yeah, I mean you had to pay your dues. You really had to pay your dues. I mean if you walk into something that's like a straight yes, you're probably going to fall hard.
Yeah. I see now a lot of days that obviously people around my age, I don't want to sound like an old head, but a lot of the younger generation, you know, they coming in feeling entitled. And I believe it's because of social media.
Right.
Right. I mean, you come out of high school getting, you know, a whole bunch of love on social media. You think you're something. And then you get into the real world where you had to jump into an industry as a beginner, right? And you got to pay your dues, like you said. So either going to pay your dues to a company or you're going to go do your own thing, in which you did. Now, taking that first step and entering that mentally, which I was speaking about on a different podcast about going into the harder route than the sunshine and rainbows route, where it leads to nothing, right? So how was it during that journey mentally going through getting all those no's and then finally getting yes?
It was taxing.
Did you want to quit sometimes?
There were points that I did, but I just put my head down and kept going. Because it wasn't just like the business itself. It's like, so when you're in a group and you have different personalities and you have outside influences getting in their ear saying, oh, you can do it better by yourself, or, you know, he's holding you back, or this or that. And then it starts that turmoil within the group. And then, you know, with us being so young, you know, it just, the pitfalls, you know, some of the guys fell into. And then, you know, that changes the whole landscape of the group. And we didn't stick together like we should have. And, you know, some of them have reached out and apologized since. But
isn't that a weird thing, man, how people do that when they see something is going on and they want to throw negativity at somebody to influence it negatively, and then they end up ruining what you guys had planned. So anytime I go into any kind of business venture or any type of creative thing I do with somebody, I usually let them know the outside people are going to tell you that this doesn't make sense, right? Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, Adrian's been through it, right?
I've been through it.
Well, not me, because I'm kind of like,
oh no, you're set in stone.
yeah, I'm set in stone. Like I got on last podcast, I said I did all this research of should I open a gym? Is it a good business venture to go into? And everything I read said no. So I still did it, obviously. But so I'm pretty set in stone. But Adrian, us shooting this podcast and us doing a whole bunch of content, and even me and my gym, we've experienced a lot of outside forces saying what you guys doing isn't a real thing. It doesn't make sense, right? So have you been told that too, outside forces to you, like, hey?
Oh yeah, dude. I've been told I sucked, and
somebody told you that?
Even at my album release, one of the guys, he had one of his girls or whatever came over, and she was sitting with us or whatever, and she was just dogging my album. You know, I mean, you have a lot of people that will hate and talk crap, and you just gotta take it with a grain of salt, because you know what you love doing, what you're doing. And here's how I see music, man. It's like not everyone's going to love what you do.
Yeah.
If they did, then every artist would be huge.
Yeah.
It's just some people are going to be supportive, and you got to look at all your business ventures as a plateau, but as something that you're jumping off of to another thing. Yeah. You're always building.
Yeah.
It's not just one thing and you're sad. You're always building something different.
Always making adjustments.
Yeah.
Innovative and adaptive, right? And creativity.
Yeah, because you got to grow. You can't ever just sit idle.
Yeah, most definitely. You can't get comfortable anywhere. Which I spoke to somebody before, and they're all like, "Oh, I like the gym that you got going on." I was like, this is nowhere close to where I want to go.
No,
this is nowhere close.
This is just the start for you.
Yeah,
I know we've talked about it before. It's just the beginning, because this area is just going to go kaboom, and then you'll be able to add on to the gym, or you'll be able to open up another gym, and you might.
Do you think I should stay in Pilot Point?
I do. I think that.
You think it'll be worth it in the future?
Oh yeah, I do. I think that you're probably going to end up needing a bigger location.
Okay.
Definitely add a sauna, but
I knew he was gonna bring it in there. I was waiting. He brought it up to you?
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay. He's notorious for that around here.
I'm just saying,
I'll get a new piece of equipment and he'll be all like, sauna would be nice too.
But I see it at a different location. I see you at your own location. Yeah. Like I said, man, if you keep God first and keep being good to people, you'll be rewarded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I totally agree. But well, I guess we're at our 5-minute mark. Jason, it was nice having you on the podcast. I think I learned a lot about the music industry.
Well, I appreciate you having me on here, Bo.
And I like to see that people were strong-willed to keep going, keep grinding, and continuing to grow. 'Cause when you stop growing, man, that's when you're done.
Yeah, I don't think anybody should ever stop growing. I don't think anybody should ever stop thriving. I mean, one dream can lead to another, and it is not. In one thing, it's never just about you. Mm-hmm. When you start making it about yourself, I think that's when you start failing. Yes. I think when you're looking at who you can help, and it's all about paying it forward.
Paying it forward, most definitely.
That's good advice.
Yeah, pay it forward. It will come back.
Yeah,
it will come back. It's like, never mind. I was gonna say it. I don't know. I'm not bringing that up. Anyways,
we talking about the sauna again?
No. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And Jason, I'll let you give a little outro there.
Definitely go check out my new music, Never Run. The new single, Don't Cry, will be out in April. That's the plan. Check out Timeline 20. And if you want to hear the first album, it's J. Poncio. You can go on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere digital that is playing music, YouTube. So if you go to my YouTube page, Jason Poncio, please subscribe. And, and just keep listening, because we go keep kicking the door in and making noise.
Yes, sir. Goodbye.